Grab that. Again, stay to the right at all times. So if you're thinking on anything during the course or whatever, it's always, if you're wondering where you should be, always think stay to the right. You're going to be fine. When you're coming out, once you've grabbed your bike, go to the right, come out here, on the right, and the bike mount area is going to be right in here. This will be coned off so that you can come out and make a left-hand turn so that you're starting your bike, and this is a little bit of an uphill, so you're not, originally they were going to do it here because it's, but you're right on the hill this way, then you're starting here and you have a little chance to get a little bit of momentum before you start up this little hill. You come up the hill to the start of Wheelie Avenue. Now before I go, any more questions on the start? Go ahead.
How many waves are there?
I think there's 4 or 5. He's got maybe over 100, maybe. But literally, he's going to tell you which number. And the other thing I didn't tell you is, at the end of every wave, there's going to be a 2-minute break to allow them to change starters, because if the person's calling 700 names or whatever, it might be a little bit of a problem. So just don't be aware. It also allows the pool area to clear out a little bit, just in case there's any traffic jams. Remember, it's every 5 seconds. But as long as you have a full lane, so as long as people stay to the right, you're always going to be able to pass somebody. You're always going to not have to worry about, when you had people going up and down, you had to worry about bumping into somebody in a bad way, rather than in this way. If you bump into somebody, it's not, it's going to cause you to slow down, but not cause you to stop. Okay? Anything else? Okay. We'll go to, I think the bike course is the next one. Okay. Bike route. It's 3 loops of a 4-mile course. Remember that. So every time, there's always somebody who doesn't do the full 3 loops, or if they're not paying attention, they might do 4 loops. So a good way to try and do that is, some people you can count. Some people just know. Another way would be is if you have an idea of how long it takes you normally to do a 4-mile bike ride or so. If you've lost track of what you do, take a look at your watch. If you know that you've got out of the pool, in 8 minutes or 6 minutes or however long it was, and you got up here and then you come around here, and your bike time is a certain amount, just mentally calculate what it might be, what your time might be when you get off the bike after 3 loops. And if you've gone around it a second time and you think that you're ready to pull in, take a look at your watch, and if you're way short, then you probably need to go around again. Or if you're way over, you probably have gone 4 loops. That's one of the ways that we can tell that somebody has shorted the course, is generally if you have a really slow swim time and a really slow run, and you got a fantastic bike speed, we generally know that you've only done 2, and that's the way to get disqualified. So you don't want to get disqualified. Another thing is, remember to stay to the right at all times. It's illegal to pass on the right from the bike. That will result in a penalty. If you go out into the lane, the traffic lanes, this road is open, but you're coned off. If you go outside the cones, that also is a penalty. If you draft, that is also a time penalty. So there's no, unless you really feel that you can make up to 2 minutes by doing one of these things, that it's worth that to you, then go ahead and do it and get that penalty. But the other problem is that it is a safety violation and everything, and we don't want, it's at your own risk. When you get out here up to Reston Parkway, you're going to make that right. You're going to come down. This is essentially flat until you get down close to Wheelie Avenue, and you're going to start. This is a downhill. You're going to carry a lot of speed down to this corner. The biggest problem with this corner is this is not a 90-degree corner. This is about a 100-degree corner, maybe 110 degrees. If you're not used to it and haven't set up for that much of a turn, if you think it's just a regular corner, you're going to carry too much speed and you're going to get carried out into the traffic, or worse yet, you're going to try and overcompensate, cause yourself an accident. So you may want to slow down here. In fact, most people should. I recommend that you slow down. It's not worth the second or two you're going to gain have a chance, you know, to put yourself in a situation where you're going to have an accident. And again, stay to the, you know, be aware of what's around you, because when you get to these corners, you're going to have a lot of people that are either going to try and pass you, or you're going to come up on somebody. And if you're carrying too much speed, you might get into the corner, the turn faster than you think, and all of a sudden you got a bike right in front of you, and you're on their wheel, and there's somebody on your side, and you don't have anywhere to go. So.
Are there any landmarks as you approach Wheelie to know that you're coming up on it?
Well, it's only, I mean, this is a 4-mile course. It's only a mile up here.
There's a traffic light there.
Yeah, it's that fact. Yeah, there's only one traffic light between here and there, and that's at Center Harbor. There's a traffic light. That's so 2 traffic lights up. You got the you got the turn. But you're going to see when you start picking up a lot of speed, and you see bicycles turning in front of you, you know that that's Wheelie. Okay, you're going to come up Wheelie. This is pretty much uphill, but not a steep uphill. It's more of a grade going up slightly. And you got a traffic light again at Center Harbor. Of course, you just go right through it. And then you're going to get a nice downhill here. Again, you're going to start picking up a lot of speed going down this hill. And it's going to be fun riding this part of the course, because you're going to feel like Superman or Superwoman going down this hill, because it's going to give you a lot of speed. And you're going to have all the speed into it. It's going to start uphill, again, right before this corner. The thing about this is that you're going to have so much speed that you're not going to lose hardly anything going up this little hill. So you're going to be carrying a lot of speed into this turn, again. So, again, it's it's a 90-degree turn, but there's a lot of traffic on Barron Cameron in the morning. And if you carry too much speed into that corner, you're going to be carrying yourself out into traffic, and you don't want to do that. You have 2 lanes here. You have a warm-up lane and a regular lane. So you got enough room, but just be aware that when you see this traffic light again, there was a traffic light at Center Harbor, and the next traffic light is here. When you see that traffic light, just be aware that, again, if you carry too much speed through there, you're going to have to really compensate to keep from going outside those cones, and maybe even worse. So that's just something to remember. And again, once you make that turn, the hill that started here continues after the turn. So you're going to lose your speed real quick. But it's after the turn that you lose the speed. You're going to go up a little bit of a hill here, and then come back down a hill to the traffic light there by Lake Ann. After you get past Lake Ann, it's pretty much, it's a long uphill, up Barron Cameron, up here to where Home Depot is and whatnot. And if you're not really well trained, you're going to lose a lot of, you're going to think you've lost all your time there. So if you overdo it in certain parts of this course, in the early part, you're going to pay the price right here. When you come up here, again, this is a much sharper turn, but you're not going to have a whole lot of speed unless you're really a super athlete. So your turn here, they also have an actual turn lane there that's designated for cars to turn there. So the angle, even though this is much steeper than here, is not really, as long as the slower bikes stay to the right, no problem. And again, this is generally pretty flat. And when you stay to the right, except when you get near here, be aware that there's more bicycles coming into this road at this point. This should be coned off for the bicyclists. Again, stay to the right, except follow the cones so that you're not coned out. 3 loops. On the 3rd loop, it's a right-hand turn in. Back in. Remember, stay to the right, be aware of your surroundings, because at any one time, it only takes a second for an bike accident to happen. It takes a lot longer for that to recover. It's not just a race sometimes. If you injure yourself, you're going to be paying the price for weeks or months. You're only ever an instant away from an accident on a bike if you're not paying attention. So that's just something to just remember. There's no race that's ever worth 3 weeks of wearing a cast on an arm.